Determine the sign of the slope of a line tangent to a function at a given point. So in this video, we're going to go through, we're going to look at specific points in the graph, and we're going to identify whether or not their tangent line has a positive slope, a negative slope, or a slope of 0. But first, let's just go and review and let's classify the possible slopes of tangent lines. Alright, so first up, we know that the classifications in this video are positive, negative, and 0. So now if we go through and we just casually look at some graphs, a positive slope is going to have a tangent line that has this particular shape. And we would say that this particular line is increasing. So whenever our tangent line is increasing, we can say that that particular tangent line or that particular point has a positive slope. Similarly, our negative tangent line is going to have a shape like this, or our tangent line is going to behave in this general direction, so it's going down. So therefore, this particular tangent line, or the point that this tangent line goes through, could be classified as having a decreasing slope. And then finally, a slope of 0 is when we have a horizontal line. And we also said that whenever we have a horizontal line, or we can identify horizontal tangent lines at the turning points of the graph. So just quick review, we have a positive slope when the tangent line is increasing, a negative slope when the tangent line is decreasing, and we have a 0 slope when we have a horizontal tangent line, or if we are at a turning point. So let's look at our first example. In this first example, we want to list all the x values and determine whether the function has a positive, a negative, or a 0 slope for that tangent line. Alright, now we can see that there are 6 points identified on this particular graph. So point, 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 point. So these are the 6 x values we need to go ahead and we need to just quickly identify. So let's see, we're going to have an x value at -5, an x value at -4, an x value at -3, an x value at 2, an x value at 3, and an x value of 4. And then from here, we just need to go ahead and classify whether the slopes are positive, negative, or 0. And it's always easiest to identify where the slopes are 0 first, because it's usually the easiest to find a horizontal tangent line because they exist at turning points. And we can see that we have a turning point right here and a turning point right there. So if we were to sketch our tangent line, we could see that at those 2 points, we're going to have a slope of 0. And those 2 tangent lines are going to occur at x equals -4 and x equals 3. So 0 slope and 0 slope. Alright, well then we can start next with -5. And if we were to just sketch a tangent line through -5, we could see that our tangent line at -5 is increasing. So that means that at -5, we are going to have a positive slope. Next up is -3, and if we were to sketch a tangent line through... Oh, that's a bad tangent line. Let's try that again. If we were to draw a tangent line through x equals -3, it appears to be decreasing. So therefore, this would have a negative slope at x equals -3. Alright, next up is x equals 2. So if we kind of sketch a tangent line to x equals 2, again, it appears as though our tangent line is decreasing, which means we are going to have a negative slope. And then finally at x equals 4, sketch a quick tangent line, doot, 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 doot. That tangent line is increasing, so that means we would have a positive slope at x equals 4. And there you have it, all the x values and the classifications of slopes for the tangent lines that intersect all those x values. Alright, next up, question says, at which x values does the tangent line have a slope of 0? So, let's remember, slope of 0 means that we are looking for horizontal tangent lines and turning points. So, if we look at this graph, it appears as though we're going to have a turning point here at x equals negative 3, and the turning point here at x equals 1. And it doesn't look like there are any other places on this graph where we could have a horizontal tangent line. So again, we can just quickly sketch those in here just to make sure. And it does appear as though the slope will be 0 at those two x values. So the answer would be negative 3 and comma 1. And then our final example on the graph below. Does the tangent line have a positive, a negative, or a 0 slope at x equals 3? So, at x equals 3, we can see that this is the point on the graph. And if we were to sketch a tangent line that goes through this particular point, we can hopefully see that this particular tangent line is decreasing, which means it's going to have a negative slope. So x equals 3 will have a tangent line with a negative slope. Alright folks, and that is it for determining the sign of the slope of a line tangent to a function at a given point.